Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this live session. Please check in on today's event if you haven't already done so. The check-in link is on the screen, which is aka.ms/reactor check-in, or you can scan the QR code and it will take you directly onto the check-in page. Just to remind you, by checking in, you get access to all the resources and learning parts after the event. The check-in information will also be added onto the chat. And let us know in the comments where you're joining in from today. My name is Rav, and I am the program manager at Reactor London. For all our upcoming sessions, please visit the Microsoft Reactor website. And just to let you know, this event will be available to watch on demand on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel within the next 24 hours. Before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, and please be kind and considerate in the way you engage. Today we have with us Rory, Cloud Advocate at Microsoft, and Trask, who is the Principal Software Engineer at Microsoft. They both will be leading the session. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. I will now hand it over to Rory. Hey, Rory.
Welcome and part 2, and I'm so excited to do this though, and we've got so many great examples we're going to do, and Trask and I are going to wow you. We've got 3 sections here. First, I'm going to show you log analytics and the basics behind it. Then Trask is going to show you a drop the mic demo with the Azure Learn Monitoring module that I authored. And then finally, Trask and I are going to try to break a microservice and see how we can use log streaming to go in and do some troubleshooting. So there's a lot of exciting features that we've got coming up in this session.
Sounds very exciting, Rory. I'll hand it over to you, and I'll obviously be in the background if you need me. All the best.
Thanks, Rav. So first, who am I? My name is Rory Preddy, and I'm in Johannesburg right now, South Africa. And I have brown hair. I'm wearing a white shirt. I'm a 42-year-old Caucasian male, and I have achondroplasia or dwarfism. And that's a visual description that we started to do at Microsoft to help people who are visually impaired better understand who they're talking to and watching. So this is all about log analytics. This is part 2, and we're going to go through log analytics and why it's so powerful and special. And you're going to follow me on Twitter on @RoryPreddy, and Trask is going to do a demo just after this, and then we're going to break some microservices. So first, you've got a lab that you can actually do with log analytics, and it's got 800 gigabytes of logs. So if you want to go to the lab and you want to follow me as I progress through this, though, you can go to aka.ms/log. That's an actual underscore there. I realized I should have actually detailed that, though, but that's log_demo. And it's got 800 gigabytes of log. Now you can go access the front end for this. And let me show you the front end quickly with that. I'm going to go off script here, and I'm just going to click that front end. Let me select it. Clicking is never an easy thing with PowerPoint. So and let me go into my Chrome browser. And now I'm going to show you what this actually looks like. This is a retail app here, Contoso app. And this is Contoso Retail. And this is actually a dashboard where you can do tickets and customer service. So you can go dashboard here. You can see there's a status of open level severity for each one of those. You can click through here and you can go escalation level, who the customer was, and they're going to escalate it, and what the ticket is being about and when it was created. So it's a ticketing system here to manage retail customer services that you have, though. So let's go back into PowerPoint, and we want to go play from current slides. So you can access all of the log analytics for that. So every time that you click on that, you're actually going to go to aka.ms/log_demo, and then the front end for that application. And that log_demo there is actually available the entire time. So even when the presentation is finished, you can go into there and access all of that demo material here. So yeah, so log_demo, and that gives you now a log view. So if I click through here, before we even get to the log analytics here, and I click through here and I go into that, it gives you in the lab environment, if I click through here, an entire log view that you can access all of the log analytics, 800 gigabytes of it. And you can run all these queries we're going to go through. And I'm going to go through the basics of exactly what is a query and why is log analytics so powerful. And then my colleague Trask is going to show you that nice little module, that Learn module that we did, and do it with microservices with Azure Spring Cloud. So first, how do you get the data into log analytics? You do that with data collection. So when you go into your system, you'll go into diagnostic settings for your application, your operating system, your resource, your subscription, your tenant. All of them have a little setting there called diagnostic settings. And the minute you click on that diagnostic setting, it's going to start to pummel all of those resources into your Azure monitor. So if you're going to have application, it's going to take the application insights. You can use that also with agent monitoring or via your agents. And if you're going to use resources, subscriptions, or tenants, you've got zero instrumentation. You just switch it on and you got your logs and metrics. So if you're going to run a VM, you do need an agent running for your diagnostic settings to work. And if you're going to run an application, for certain of them, you do need an agent there. But for like Java, .NET, you don't need anything. And it will just send your diagnostic settings straight through your metrics and your logs. You can also use custom sources there with your API into Azure Monitor. And then once you have all of your data inside the Azure Monitor, you get something called a schema. And a schema is a collection of tables visually grouped under a logical category. So for example, Azure Spring Cloud, Trask is going to show you that there's different schemas. There's app logs for Spring that you get here. So in our categories, we'll find that there is log management, Office 365, security, and because there is a lot of events and application metrics that are linked through to your application. So if you're going to do a VM, you're going to get Windows and syslog, performance data, and client heartbeats. Then you've got your tables over here for your schema and your typed columns. So you can see that there's end time or entities. You're going to have your queries that you're going to run. And you can set your time range there. You can save or export your queries. And then over here, you're going to have your results. And then you've got your pagination there that you can actually loop through your results. But you need to have your schemas here. And those schemas, that data, for example, security alert, needs to exist inside your schema. So over here, you can see there's a security schema. And then over here, you've got your typed columns called, your actual query called security alert. And then you've got your typed columns for security alert. So security alert is a table. So security is a table, and then security alert is a field inside the table, and you've got all your data there. So why are queries so crucial? So first of all, it uses KQL, which is a query language, and it's used within the Azure ecosystem. It's not only used within the Azure ecosystem, it's used in multiple different products that we use, and it's used in multiple different products inside there to get the ocean of data available in Azure Monitor. And you can get an immediate understanding of what's going on. You can get something meaningful out of your data. You can get performance that is important to querying the data and agility, and you get all the key info for your query. So what is Custo? So KQL stands for Custo Query Language. So it's a log and search analysis service that operates on a big data scale. That's 800 gigs of data that I have there. And you'll see when I operate on it, it takes a few seconds to actually operate on it. So it's built for distributed data processing. It's optimized for text analytics. It can provide inline machine learning, high ingestion rate, so meaning that I get all the data in there and I can process it quickly, and it's fast with advanced distributed query. So it's read-only, request to return data and results. I can't modify the data, it's just read-only. The data flow is very similar to SQL database. If you're used to SQL, then KQL will be very similar for the tables and the columns and the queries. The query starts with either table or a search. And data transformation is bounded with a pipe, and then queries are separated by semicolons. So here you have your logs, and you can see there that's your log analytics into your log query. So we're real world log analytics workspace here. You've got your Windows event logs, your syslog, your agents, your custom logs, metrics, and then you've got your tables here. And a lot of the tables are actually named the same across them. If you're going to have like tables that are specific to Azure Spring Cloud, like we'll see a little bit later, you can get a lot different table. But you've got your event table, you've got your syslog, your heartbeat, your perf table, your other tables there. And then for application insight, we've got requests, traces, page view, and dependencies and other tables. So let's look at some of the queries here. So we've got event table here, and it's union syslog, where event name equals to error or severity equals to error. So the union query is very similar to SQL, if you remember, and that allows you to actually join the two tables together with event and syslog. Then we've got heartbeat, and we're doing summarize count by computer and bin and the time generated and 5 minutes. And that's a summarize feature. It's going to aggregate it there by computer and bin. Then we've got a performance perf query there. It's going perf join my log on computer, and it's joining the my log and perf tables there with a join there. So you can use union or join to join those two fields there. Then afterwards, we've got an app query where timestamp, summarize, and then join. And you can see this is a kind of like putting everything together there. It's summarizing, it's joining the queries, and it's doing where queries. So it's very powerful. And we're going to see exactly how we can actually do all of that. So it is a web tool that used to write log queries here. And you can access it there on the logs entry there. So the minute you go to logs on your Azure service there, you can get that nice log query. So what is log analytics? That screen that you have there. So log analytics provides the following features to work with your log query. So multiple tabs, you can start up multiple tabs, rich visualization, improved intelligence. It's got some really nice intelligence. When I was working on the queries that I'm going to show you later today, it literally finished the query for me without me having to do much. It's got syntax highlighting. You can do Query Explorer. It can explore those queries there, and it can just pop them on there. You just click on the table, and it can just do that. You can look at the schema view. You can share your queries there. It's got smart analytics, and you can also do column selection. So search queries. Let's look at the basics behind some search queries. So when you do a search query here, so we're going to do security event, and we're going to do a lot of demos with security event. So you mention your table. Security event is your table. Then you do your filter for your where clause there. So where time generated, and in that case is greater than ago 1 hour. So it's a time query, a time filter. And then you can also do where event ID equals to 4624. So that's a query there, and you need to use the comparison equals. And then you can summarize, and that summarize query there is the data aggregation. So the data aggregation, so it's going to take all the security events, and it's going to put them all together and count them. But it needs to understand what you're going to aggregate by, and you can see there, we're going to aggregate by account. We're going to order by, so when you have your aggregation, you want to order by account ascending, so it's going to order by account ascending. And then right at the end, you're going to modify your columns by projecting out. So basically, it's creating new columns for that aggregation, and it's going to project them out. It's going to create new columns there, and you're going to project account and successful logins equals to count. And then over there, you get the count details and your successful logins as the time there, the modification column. So that's the basics behind your search queries. So how to get started. So let's look at the first queries there. So you can click on security events. So go into that log demo. So log aka.ms/log_demo, and then just click on security events. So let me just show you here what you're going to do here. Let's go into here, and then you're just going to click on security event. I'm just going to highlight there, and you can just go run. So you can just highlight there security event, and it's going to run the query, and you're going to specify your time range here. Now you can specify your time range also in your queries, but in this case here, I'm going to do last 24 hours. Remember, it's operating on a lot of data here, and then you get in here, you get your query results, and now you can look at your query results either in tabular format or also a row format. Yes, you can actually click in there, and you can go down and see your row format. Now over here, I've got, I'm not going to zoom in too much. I've got my actual table query here. Tables there. And I can search for security. There's my security alert, and I can open that up there, and you can see there I've got all of my security alert tables there, and I can also go use an editor. And if I go use an editor, it's actually going to pop it in there for me. Like, look how cool that is, hey? I can go in, let's go back there. I can also, if I wanted to do that, I can double click on a field there and it can actually add those fields. So there's a lot of nice little specific kind of features to that. If I want to do, I can go here and I can go pipe where, and then I can go, for example, there, alert name. Let's go alert name. No, we want to go there. We want to go alert name, and then equals to, and we can specify the actual alert name there. So in that case there, the alert name might be a certain field there. So there's a lot of nice little features that you get in this window here. So one is that you'll see here that you've got the table query, but they've built in a lot of queries here that you get also here. So if you want to go and play around, you get applications, so you can show you error and exception counts, failed operation, failed dependencies on all of your applications. You get audit, Azure Monitor, Azure Resources, container database, desktop analytics, IT and management system, network, security. So they remember the security alert there. So a lot of nice features there. Accounts failed to log in. So we'll go through a few of those there. Virtual machines, virtual Windows Virtual Desktop workloads, and others. So that's a little rundown of the actual front end. I just wanted to show you, go a little bit off script here, play from current slides. Okay, so you've got the Custo query here where you can go search. Now search is insane. Search actually goes every field that has in the entire table for security, it's going to go search for error. When you run that, prepared for a lot of data back though. So you can go search and it'll bring back everything that contains error in every column though. You can also say search in security event error and it's going to bring back all of this. So queries can start with a table or search. Yeah, so you can go in and also you can actually go search error. Yeah, so let's look here. So sorting, so if you're going to go security alert, sort by time generated, you can go descending or ascending, and that's going to sort by, and you can also go top 10, and top will bring back the 10 first things. So that's very quick, and you can go top 10 by time generated. How cool is that? You can get the last generated by the time generated. So you can get the last 10 queries that were in security alert for certain. So filtering. So like SQL, the where clause can be used to filter out for specific items, though. So you can do the search query, but you can also do it with where. So you can go event where event level name equals to error, and you can use the and query to combine filters. So you've got these expression lists here, so and or and you know the binary operators here. So filtering on date range, so you can actually do security event, and then you can go pipe where time generated is a go. So you've got those nice little filter time date range, and you've got time units there: day, hour, minute, second, millisecond, microsecond, and nanosecond. And then you can also go to int level is greater than 10 if you want to do some conversion around the levels. Look how cool is that? You can actually go and do conversion where you have fields that aren't a certain type. So project and extend. Now, when I saw extend, I thought they could have used a better word than extend, though. But extend really takes your table and adds a column onto it. So project goes in and creates new fields, but extend takes your existing fields and adds columns onto it, though. So it's very similar to SQL. In that case, there we've got security event, top 10 by time generated, and project out of those fields by security events. It's going to bring back the computer time generated, event details, and event code into that. But the second one over here, security event, that's going to actually take all of the fields there, and it's just going to add a field at the end of it called extend. So project selects columns you want, also renames and defines them into new ones. Extends keeps the original result and adds new columns. So let's look at summarize next. So summarize aggregates a group of rows. In this example, we're going to go perf, where time generated, and summarize count by object name. So that's going to actually summarize by a field there into the performance table. You can also go summarize by object name and then counter name. So it's very similar to the SQL group by field and function. You can add it there, so you can go where time generated is 7 days, where computer name, counter name, and then summarize by the fields. We're going to look at some nice examples as we progress. So there's a lot of other useful operators there. So you can go string concat, square root, common math functions, string functions, parsing text, limiting operators here. You've got grouping by aggregations and also joins and unions, and then sort and order and for your where clause. You can get a full list of operators can be found on docs.microsoft.com, and then Azure Monitor useful operators. String comparison operators, you get the standard string comparison operators. You get equals, not equal to. You can also do has, doesn't have, right side has, and left side. Very similar to what we found in SQL operators. Date and time operators, so you can also do, and we touch on this very gently, but you can actually do bin groups together different time intervals to derive some statistics. You actually bin groups there. So if you want to, you create tranches of similar data, and then you can kind of superimpose those tranches over there to create bins of a similar time generation. Charts and diagram, it's built into the system, so you can actually do render keyword to create diagrams and charts. In this example there, processor time, and it's going to go there, render into a time chart, and I'm going to show you a nice example of there, and you can actually render that into a chart or a diagram. So that's everything I need to do. I did 20 minutes, and we did some nice slide decks. Let's go into our demo environment, and let's look at some nice queries. Remember, you can follow this on with me. So the demo environment is aka.ms/log_. I should have actually just put that rather dash demo. And then all of the queries that I'm going to do today, you can access all of those queries on aka.ms/log_queries. So all of the queries that I've taken today are there, and they're defined pretty well done. So in those log queries there. So let's get out of that, and let's go in and see our queries there. So here's our queries here. So the first thing I'm going to show you here, let me zoom in a little bit there. And security, but let me zoom out. I want to get the perfect zoom. You know how hard it is sometimes to get that perfect zoom, and I want to go there. There. So the first thing I want to show you, the security event. We saw that how you see the table, and you can just select that, and then you can go. You can just double click there, and you can just go run. Now you're going to use the time range, or you can do the take 10. Now watch how quick it took, long it took if I just didn't say the take 10, and then we'll see here. It'll tell you how long. You can see the 9 seconds, 10 seconds, and how many records it's going to come back. So 30,000 plus records for the last 24 hours. Now I'm going to do take 10, and then I'm going to do run, and let's see how long it takes there. 1 second. So that's important to understand that take 10 really works well. So let's see the take 10. Now we're going to do a search in query. So search in security event. Wait there, and everything that says a process was allowed. So right at the end here, I did some research before that. And there was some activity, a new process has been created, or process was allowed to run. This is going to search for millions of queries in with the inquiry, and then we're going to pipe that to take 10. So how long do you think that's going to take? Let's run that though in the last 24 hours. Whew, that's some big indexes. Look at that, 0.8 seconds. Let's see how long that takes if I actually don't do take 10, and we don't do that, and I just select that and I go run. And let's see how long that took there. So that should take a little bit longer, because now I'm not taking 10 or searching those queries though. That's going through the whole database, every text field, and actually going in and trying to find that data. So this might not even come back. I'm not even sure this is going to. Oh, there we go. 16 seconds. So not too long there. So the next thing I want to do, sort. So security event, sort by time generated descending. So you can do sort by queries there. And then we're going to get the last 24 hours. I may not run all of these queries. I know that Trust has got some really great demos that we're going to do. So you can do sort by. Oh, look, that takes a long, but let's see how long that took. 13 seconds. Wow. Okay. And then it goes and it's sort by the time generated there. You can see there, and it's going to sort it by descending. But if I do top 10, of course, it's going to take way quicker. So how long? 0.9 seconds. You can also do security event where level equals 8. So these are levels of severity for security events, and you can go quick there. And let's see how long that takes there. That takes a little bit long. So you can, because it's going to find out all security events where the level is 8. But if you can see here, I've added an and clause here. So security event where level equals 8 and event ID equals 4688. I did some research there. So that took 10 seconds. Let's see how long this one is going to take. But you've got an and clause there. And this should take much quicker because it's going to go loop through your actual data there and find that query where that event ID is though. So it also depends on what you indexed on, and you can set your index there. So yeah, much quicker than that. And then you've also got the where clause. You can do where clauses there and time int, and you can also go to int level. So you can convert the level there, which is a string field, to int. So if we go to the level field here, you'll see there that that's the level field. So you can actually convert it into int. And now we can project our fields. So security event top 10 by time generated. And now we're going to project our fields, and we're going to say from the security event, only give me time generated computer and activity fields. I can run that there. And now you'll see I should only get time generated computer and activity fields. So I've got my projection fields there. Next, we want to do project the fields, and we're going to add another field right at the end called event code, and we're going to substring activity to 0 or 4. So activity is a long string field there. So we're going to go run that. Now we're going to project, and we're going to create a field there right at the end there, a generated field there. It's called event code. So now you get event code there, and that is the substring of activity that you get there. So next thing, we're going to extend that. So now we're going to take the entire security event table, but we're going to extend it right at the end to add another column there, and we're going to call that event code is to substring activity. So if I got all of the fields here, right at the end of it there is not at the right at the end, right in the beginning, there's my event code. Now event code is substring activity. So if I go to activity and find that, then we should see that it's a string field. There's activity, and you can see I substringed it there. So it's a nice way to just pull data and scrape data off there if you wanted to do that. Then I've got a summarize counter. So I've got my performance data for all my VMs that I'm running there underneath running the security events. And now I'm going to summarize count by object name. So I can summarize that, and you can see there I've got all of those object names there. And one of them I want to show you is memory. So it's going to summarize the memory and how much memory was consumed. So next you want to do, if you wanted to summarize count by object name, and then also you can do counter name. So you can search by other fields, and you can, let's just go up here for a second. This is what happens when you demo. There we go. There's my run button there again. And now you can actually go and aggregate by counter name also. So look at that. Counter name and memory. So now I can see that which node is causing which performance counter there, and then the actual count for each one of those metrics. You can also do summarize by computer. Look at that, time generated, summarize average counter value by computer. And it's going to bring me back each value there. Look at those AKS nodes, because this runs in Kubernetes, and then the average counter value. You can also do summarize average by computer name. And then finally, I've got a nice little, I had to get this working because this is something that constantly changes because they change the name of the service. Now I'm going to do perf where time generated. So for the last 7 days, where the computer name and the counter name is available megabytes. And I'm going to summarize on counter value and then by bin. So it's going to actually bin it there, because I want to do a graph of this by bin time generated. So I'm going to run this. It's going to get all the data, but now I'm going to chart it. Now I can get, for that computer server there, I can get the chart of the value. I don't want that type of chart. I want the line chart. So let's go stack column, and I want to go into line chart. I can get the actual value of the server at any given time binned to the available megabytes. How powerful is that? So that's everything I wanted to show you today. And I'm perfectly on time. So you can access all of that on aka.ms/log_demo, and then also the sample queries on log_queries there. So over to you, Trask, and back to you, Rav.
Thanks, Rory. Let me find the right screen to share. Am I sharing the right screen that says Spring Pet Clinic Onyx?
Yes, you are. Yes,
Thank
you are.
All right, that's a good start. So I wanted to pick up today where we left off last week with the Spring Pet Clinic demo in App Services, and sort of show how that ties into log analytics, and then also talk about the the Azure Spring Cloud Lab, which Rory has created and show how that also ties into log analytics. So this is the resource that we created last week. And to capture logs, so if we go to logs here, it's going to tell us they haven't been configured. So what we need to do is go into Diagnostic Settings, and you'll see this is common across lots of Azure resources, which can have the ability to pipe data to log analytics. And so we will add, we'll just call this logs, and let's say we want to capture console logs, app logs, and HTTP logs. Send them to log analytics, and we're just going to send them to the default workspace is fine here. So we'll save that, and it should pick up right away. I am going to go ahead and restart the app service so that it will generate some console logging, because otherwise it doesn't generate console logs and there's not as much interesting data to see. So let's restart that. And we will give it a minute to start up, and then we'll go click around a little bit. So remember, we enabled console logs, so this will capture all of the logs that the container that app services generates, and also HTTP logs, which is your typical web server traffic logs, one line per request that came in. So let's see if we are started up. And we can always go look at our log stream again to watch the real-time restarting of the system. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, looks like it is doing some initialization there. All right. Looking good. Okay, we're up. So let's just click around a little bit to generate a little bit of traffic. And that should be good. Now we'll come back here, and it may take another minute or so for the logs to show up, but let's go over back to logs. Okay, awesome. So we did get already, we see that it has started capturing console logs. Let's take a look, see what, oh, yep, we've got logs here. And so this is what we saw also in the log streaming, but now it's available, it's persisted. We can query on it, we can slice and dice these logs. Also, it's super useful once you have more than, with a single service, a single service running a single node, it's not so hard to go in and look at log files. But once you have 10, 100, 1,000, that becomes untenable. Let's look at, so let's kind of explore, we can explore these a little bit. So for example, slicing and dicing, say we wanted to, where our result description contains SSH. And so we can see, we can filter that out easily. We can also, the very cool search that Rory was showing, we can pull that up. Now we can see that this only pulled in 3 rows as opposed to the last one, if you noticed, pulled in 4 rows. That's because contains is actually the search actually, in order for that to be performant, it works on word-bound words so that it can be efficiently indexed. And so it will tell you, Kusto here will tell you that contains was maybe not the best choice, depending on how much data you have. So let's look at the other table we have here. So the console logs are sort of more traditional unstructured logs that you have to slice and dice a little bit more with a little bit more work. The HTTP logs are really nice structured logs. They've already been broken out into the different components, the HTTP method, the path, the user agent, host name, how long the request took, number of bytes in, number of bytes out. So let's take a look at, say, the different URIs that are hit, the different paths that are hit. So when exploring this kind of data, one of the first things I like to do is kind of look at, well, what does my data look like? URI stem looks interesting. What are the different URI stems available? And we can see here we've got a bunch, static resources, other requests. Okay, but let's see, really, I want to see which are most used. So for that, I can do the summarize by count, and the path. No, I didn't do that right. Summarize count by. There we go. And so one thing that's really nice here is over here in the queries, and Rory touched on this, you can come in here and find lots of examples of queries that you can build on top of. But this is one of the most useful ones I find, summarized by count, to explore data. And then let's see, I want to see the ones that are most hit on top. So order by count, descending. Okay, well, I have not done a whole lot here. There's not a lot of traffic on this site yet. But you'll notice this count here, right, it did auto-complete that for me, but it's a little weird, and it's because that's what this count is. So we can give this a nicer name, like page count equals, and then we can order by page count descending. That makes it a little bit more clear what we're doing. And charting is one of my favorite. So let's go here and let's do a pie chart. Well, let's go donut chart. We can see, and again, in a real app, probably we're not going to see all of these small little static resources, and we can kind of get a sense of which part of our app is being used the most. And then the other thing that I love to do with charts is, here, let me minimize a little bit so we can see all the options here. Pin to dashboard. So if I go over and create a new dashboard, Let's create a dashboard called Pet Clinic. And now I want to pin this to the dashboard. Let's see if I might need to refresh. So let's try run that again and select the charting option that we want. I really like the donuts. And pin to dashboard. And here we go. We've got Pet Clinic dashboard. We've pinned it. Now if we come over to our Pet Clinic dashboard and we refresh, what did I do? Should be showing up there. We'll come back to that dashboard because now what I want to do is show you the Azure Spring Cloud Learn demo lab that Rory put together, and how we can tie that into log analytics also. So that is at aka.ms monitor Java. And so the key for deploying this to get it up and running has been made super easy. We can do it straight from the Azure portal shell, which is a really nice feature where you're already authenticated to all your resources. It already has the command line tools that you need so that you don't have to set up everything locally. We're going to git clone this repository, go into it, and so we need to edit the deployment resource names. So let's look at this. We're going to edit. And so we've got just some names here. We need to give them our own names. So I'm going to say Spring Cloud Pet Clinic. A lot of times these need to be unique. We'll go.
This is your neighborhood compliance officer, just reminding you your names have to be of a certain format. And I like to use you can't use underscore also, you have to use dash. So in the site there that I've generated, I actually give you the settings that you can or can't use. I like to just use one word and then my initials and then the South African country codes. I use like Spring Pet Clinic, one word, and then RPZA. So those are some of the services there. And this has been a compliance talk by Rory Preddy.
Thank you, Rory. Yeah, so that's, let's see, the SQL name. The password here has to be fairly complex. Normally I just use a password generator. I will try to type random gibberish and logs. So we can save this, save and close. And now we can just run that. And this will take around half an hour plus or minus. So I ran it earlier. And so we will go over into the resource that I created earlier. Azure Spring Cloud, Pet Clinic Pearl, named after another one of my pets. And over here, we can see we have logs. So again, tying this back to what we did in app services, there's also a diagnostic settings. And so part of the demo automatically, when it deployed it, via ARM template, it set up this diagnostic settings to say, okay, we want to capture these and send these to a log analytics workspace so that we can analyze them. So over here, let's look at Azure platform logs for Spring here. We can double click that and it puts it over here, and we can sort of try to explore this data. Let's see, we've got app name, instance name. Here's the unstructured log data here that it's capturing. Let's look at what some of those look like. So app name looks interesting. We've got all our different apps there. So let's look at what we can do there. Again, let's do summarize count by app name. And we can see that, okay, well, interestingly, we've got fairly even distribution of logs across our different apps. That may or may just be coincidental. But it may not be a useful production thing, but to give you a sense of how you could then say it was something that you wanted to track, maybe to see if some service is spamming logs, which can slow things down and or incur cost. So let's look at charting that. And again, to my favorite donut chart. And let's pin this also to the pet clinic dashboard. And let's go over and see our dashboard. Nope, I have clearly done something horribly wrong. So let's try one more thing. Let's try to pin it to my other dashboard. Okay. Let's just one more try here. Nope, I've mucked something up with my pet clinic dashboard, but here we go. So these are, you can put all your charts over here, and you can even modify then your dashboard, modify it on the fly here, save it. You can end up with really like all your convenient visualizations in one place. So let's hop back here and let's look at another table here, the app platform system logs. Now we can add kind of hidden up here. You can add multiple tabs, which is super helpful for keeping your work kind of organized. So let's look at the system logs. And over here, let's see, we've got, this is a more structured log again. So we kind of see this kind of log analytics is great for both structured and unstructured logs. And let's look at the level. Again, this is kind of interesting. Summarize count by level. We could do the same thing again with the pie chart, but let's instead say we want to watch this over time. So let's look at by count by time generated and level. And now if we chart, and let's zoom in a little bit because this is a lot of data here. It's so much data that let's see, here we go.
I think you broke your laptop with that much data.
Yeah, so let's zoom in 30 minutes here. And all right, so this is not quite what I wanted. What I want is I love time series charts with those buckets that Rory was describing. So what I want to do here is I want to bin this time generated to like 5-minute aggregates, for example. And now if I run and chart it, say I get 520, 525, and now I can go back to my last 24 hours without breaking the chart rendering. And let's even go, 30 minutes, say at a 24-hour granularity. And here again, we can see and we can watch that. I don't particularly think the stacked is useful in this case, so I'm going to go unstacked. And let's pin this one also to my dashboard. Come back over here, refresh. Now we've got it down here. It's a little bit off screen though, so let's come in and just rearrange that up to here, save. And now we've got two very cool, semi-useful charts. I'm sure that you can think of way more applicable charts to your particular production scenarios. But Log Analytics makes it really easy to query, chart, and create really nice looking dashboards.
That was really impressive, Trask. I can think of a lot of people's roles that it would make so much easier just to have that dashboard up in a fishbowl somewhere in a service there to say, this is how many errors that I get in my logs. And this is a Java application, be it app service or Azure Spring Cloud. And this is how many errors. And as soon as you get an error, you can add this, and you can also add alerting to go in and trigger your alerting and say, go run a DevOps process. If there's too many there, trigger that, and then go run a DevOps process to say too many severities. My log query indicates that, and then trigger show us an event rules. Yeah, that's definitely something.
That's a great point. The alert rule, Log Analytics, in addition to tying really seamlessly into charting and dashboarding, you probably don't want to sit there and watch your data all day long. So you can create alert rules straight from these log queries, and then define thresholds when your counts exceed, say the number of warning messages exceeds some threshold, you want to send an alert. That can be an alert that's sent to a person via email, SMS. It can also, as Rory mentioned, be even more action driven and actually perform actions in Azure to self-mitigate those hosts.
My favorite is the dynamic alerts that actually plots the threshold, and it like cleverly says, if you go above this level, go in and do that. I did a whole session on that though. So thanks, Trask. That was really great. We've got a little bit of time, and I want to help you break a microservice. So the next thing I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to send you a URL that you're going to access. And I want you to break it for me by adding, instead of a customer number, a customer name. And I'm going to share my screen here. So let's go share a screen. Which screen we want to do here? And Trask, I want you to hit this service here. And I'm going to try go in and get the log with it, but only here when I tell you. And I'm going to show you log streaming with the services here. So I'm going to go home. Now I've set up an Azure Spring Cloud instance myself with that script, because it's so easy to do that. And I've called it Reactor November RPZA. And in there, you can go into your apps and you can set up all your services here. And then you can go into your logs. I'm going to go into my Cloud Shell, and I'm going to do a live stream because I'm going to tail the logs on my customer service. And then Trask, when I tell you, go in and break that microservice. Now, this is the customer service. This is not expecting anything. I want to show you some real live troubleshooting with log streaming that you can actually do, and you can see some of the events. So this is the actual cloud shell. And it, when you run the script afterwards, it actually sets your variables to what you did before. So I can actually go in there, and I've got my AZ Spring Cloud app logs, and then the name of the customer service. I've given the URL to go and retrieve the customer service to Trask, and then I've done -F to go in and tail your logs. So follow your logs though. There's too many of them there. Okay, so let's go see how many. Do you know what I did? I scaled up quickly. So let me quickly go in and scale. Let's see if we can find out which one we want those. So I actually want to go into that one, and then I'm going to go into that. This is great live demo material here. And then I'm going to go -I instance, and then I'm going to do that one. Let's see if we can find that log though. Okay, so. And okay, there we go. It's right there. I love how you already did it. Let's just see if we got the right time. Yeah, 55. That's the great time there. And it says there. Now, notice what I did with that instance. Now you see how hard it was for me to find that. I've actually got 3 customer services. So I did a session before this where I scaled up to 3 instances based on some auto scaling criteria. And now to get that log with tailing would be very difficult. Now, I was lucky enough to actually choose it, but now I can go into log analytics and go get all of that logs and find out the exact error that I have there. And exactly what Trask showed us there is that look at those logs in a nice way. And you can see there, now it's saying, listen, it's expecting an integer, but you gave me a string. So I can actually go in and fix that by going into my little service here, and I can go there, but I don't know which service I'm going to hit there, and I just go 1, which is the actual George thing, and then I can actually get George Franklin of that service though, but I won't know where I hit it, so I actually have to go into those log analytics and go and query that. Look, you can see there he's going Joe. Trask is busy hitting my service there with Joe. So
I think this is an anonymous viewer.
Oh, is it? Oh, that is so clever, hey? That makes so much more sense. Okay, so I'm going to stop that before someone actually finds out how to DDoS my service then. Thank you, anonymous viewer, for actually finding that service, though. But we've shown you a lot today. So let's go back into the Java Learn path. We've got 2 more minutes. So you can go to aka.ms/Java Learn path. And I'm going to leave that site there. And then I'm going to go back all the way down to the monitoring in Java. So the 2 modules that I want you to see is monitoring Java application in Azure. And I just launched the auto scaling module. So you remember there, the customer service had 3 modules, because I just presented it a second ago. So you want to go into the monitoring application, Java applications on Azure. And it's got all of those services, that script that Trask showed you there. And a nice, you get some points over there. So that's everything that I wanted to show you. Bring Trask, come back on. And do you have anything else to say to the audience before we leave?
So next week, what we're going to go into Application Insights, which is also built on top of all the data in Application Insights is also stored in Log Analytics. So you'll see, we'll show you all the pre-built user experiences in Application Insights, but also we'll show how you can drill down into the raw data in Log Analytics and build, again, amazing dashboards and alerts and all of that good stuff.
I feel very competitive because that demo you did was absolutely brilliant. I showed them the basics of KQL and some queries and like that. And then you went there and you literally made admins' lives so much easier though. So I have to come up with something better to show them next week. And then week 4, the final week, we've got distributed monitoring. And we're going to show you how to do SQL monitoring and front-end monitoring. So you can monitor all the way from the front end, all the way to the database. So we put everything together. You really don't want to miss week 3, part 3 and part 4. And follow myself and Trask, myself on @Rory Preddy and Trask I'm not even going to try to pronounce your surname, Stelnecker. So I think I got it right there. On Twitter, and we'll see you soon. And yeah, once you get that monitoring module, go tweet about it, and we look forward to seeing you on the Twitter sphere. Thanks, everyone, and goodbye from me.
Bye, all.